Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Black Clover chapter 293. Before I get into this week's review, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 by the end of the year. So if you're already a fan of my videos and you're not subscribed, you might as well to help me reach that goal. You should also check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because there seems to be an issue with YouTube unsubscribing people, and you may actually not be subscribed without realizing it. The other thing is my Patreon. If you want to help support me and the channel directly and get access to some extra content, you can always become a patron. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. This week, I'm going to start doing reviews for The Boxer. I know a lot of people like that. I really fucking like it. So if you've been thinking about joining the Patreon, that's going to be up there this week if you're interested. So, with that out of the way, let's get on with the review. We're back from break last week, interrupting the fight between Magna and Dante. And I gotta say, this chapter surprised me quite a bit. So, I had been saying since the start of this fight that, listen, Magna's gonna do pretty well against Dante. He's gonna hold his own, he's gonna have a good fight, but there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Magna is going to actually beat Dante, because you need Asta to beat Dante. So, needless to say, this chapter surprised me quite a bit. So, Magna beats Dante. He fucking beats Dante. I know. This is insane. Now, we see that Dante, when not able to use his stupidly overpowered magic, is really not that great, which isn't a surprise, because that's usually the case, where a character has a really overpowered ability, they're not going to invest in doing anything else, so then when they don't have their ability anymore, they're just kind of shit. So when Dante eventually runs out of magic, something that's been pretty much unfathomable for him, he can't really do anything. Like, he throws a punch at Magna, but that's it. He can't do anything else. And Magna just beats the shit out of him. It's amazing. It's fantastic. This is a really good fight. Like, the choreography was pretty decent. It wasn't anything super crazy. I don't know if we're gonna have anything ever beating, like, Asta and Yami versus Dante ever again. That is the best fight in the series by far. There are only a few other ones that come close to it. So this was fairly solid. Like, pretty decently drawn boxing match. Speaking of, like, after having read a bunch of boxing matches over the last few days with the Boxer, I can say that this is a pretty decently choreographed boxing match. But it's not anything super crazy like some of the other fights we've gotten. But what makes it really good is Magna. Like, Magna's struggle to overcome Dante, who is just this... Dante's pretty much the embodiment of what it means to have ungodly amounts of overpowered magic. Which is everything that Magna's not. It's been a big thing since the start of the series, the difference between peasants who barely have any magic and royals that just have all the magic in the world. And the unfairness of Dante's magic, as he says, like, the world is not fair. Some people get really broken magic like I do, and other people have shit magic. That's just the way it works. And he revels in that. So for Magna to be able to overcome Dante here when they're put on equal footing is really great. It's really good stuff. This is pretty much Magna's defining character moment now. I don't think he's had a big moment like this in the entire series thus far. So huge fucking mungus props to him. Him beating Dante here is really satisfying, just for the fact that it's Magna, who's always pretty much been one of, if not the weakest members of the Black Bull. So this is just great. And, you know, Luck and Asta showing up, two people that Magna thinks are way beyond him, showing up to see him standing over a broken and defeated Dante, doing the victory scream, the victory screech. It's fantastic. It's great. It's a wonderful moment. And I'm wondering where they're going to go from here. I'm not sure Magna's going to do much for the rest of this arc, at least this part of the arc, because Soul Chain Deathmatch is like a 1v1 ability. So he may get like another 1v1 fight against a devil or something. I don't know, that could happen. We'll have to find out. But this is probably going to be Magna's big moment for this arc, and then we'll get into stuff with the other characters. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Dante after this, because now Dante has been beaten by, well, not Asta, and one of the weaker members of the Black Bulls, so I don't know what the fuck we're going to do with him now. My best guess is that next chapter, or in the next few chapters, relatively soon, we're going to jump away to the fights against the other members of the Dark Triad. So we're going to see what's going on with Yuno against Zenon. We're going to see what's going on with Noelle against Vanica. That'll be pretty neat. I imagine for Vanica, it's just going to be Noelle beating her. She'll get help from, Charlotte. But for the most part, this is going to be Noelle's big moment overcoming Vanica, and you're going to get one with Yuno beating Zenon. I don't know if Yuno's going to get another power-up, because he already got, I forget what it was. I know he had the Spirit of Boreas. Is that the new ability, or is that just all of his things? I thought Zephyr was the last one. I have to check again. But yeah, I don't think Yuno's gonna get another power-up, because he, just got one for the start of their fight. And also, Yuno seemed to be the least bothered by Zenon's power-up, so he'll probably defeat Zenon relatively on his own, unless Zenon gets away or something. We still have to find out. I think it's very likely, especially now that Dante has been beaten here, that Zenon is actually the big bad of the Dark Triad. I know a lot of people have been saying that for a while. I've been kind of saying that a bit. Zenon hasn't been brought up recently, so I haven't had an opportunity to mention it in a bit, I don't think. But I think Zenon's probably going to be, the real mastermind behind the Triad, the real big bad. As a lot of people have pointed out, Dante does not really have a lot of leadership qualities. He's just kind of a crazy asshole. And now that he's been beaten here at, well, not the start of the arc, but we still have a lot of Clifot to go through. So Zenon will probably be important for much longer than Dante. And we'll see what's going on. We'll see if he has, a big Eisen reveal or something. We still need to find out what the name of his devil is. I was thinking Beelzebub, but it may be, yeah, probably Beelzebub or Astaroth? I forget which one is supposed to be which out of the space and time devils. Because Lucifero? It's weird that there's Lucifero and Lucifugus. That sounds like a poor decision on the choice of the person who created the source material this is being based off of. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah. Overall, very good chapter. I think Magna's going up. Magna's going up in the character rankings. Not necessarily power rankings. Well, no, he is going up in the power rankings. But that's not my biggest concern. My biggest takeaway from this chapter is that, oh shit, Magna's actually a really good character. And he hasn't really gotten the spotlight before like he has now. So, it's good to see. And I'm hoping that the other Black Bulls are going to get moments like this coming up, because this is some pretty good shit. And if Tabata has stuff like this in store for maybe not all of the other Black Bulls, but for a decent number of them, then boy, are we going to be in for a pretty good show. So I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen in next week's chapter. So if you enjoyed this review, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Black Clover chapter reviews. Every week we get a chapter. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnar, Jujutsu Kaisen, Kengan Omega, and Kaiju number 8, I do videos in those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Black Clover with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. Since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to some of my wonderful patrons, and the recipients of the shout out today will be Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, and Zach Rowitz. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos or access to some extra content, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.